throw myself into a time where I trusted I'd achieved it, then go a little bit further so I knew what it was like. So I got the kinesthetics of having achieved it, which put me in a good mood. And then I was in a much better place to look at how I planned it. But as you rightly said, look at the problems that might come up and come up with some ideas of solving them. So when I was hit by a problem in the future, I always knew what to do next. So I didn't know everything to do, but I always knew the first 3 steps, which might have been ask people, it might have been whatever it was. But I didn't get it. It's like I didn't become like the rabbit in the headlights.
Right.
I always knew the first steps to take if I was hit by any problem.
That's right. So what we did at that time was you created actually a strategy for dealing with what happens if shit happens while I'm working on something.
Yes.
But what was important actually for you to do, because you wanted to, was if I could see the first 3 steps, the rest are going to start to fall into place, even if I don't know what they're going to be.
If I know where I want to go, and I have a rough plan. Too much planning I don't think works, but I've got a very rough plan and a direction, and I start doing stuff, it then becomes apparent what I'm going to do next.
Yeah, pretty much. You got to be in a good kinesthetic place, because your brain likes that too, and not just when I say kinesthetic or good feeling, it's not just in your gut. Your brain is connected to the rest of your body. And I try to explain that to people. And then there's this thing called the enteric system that is part of your emotion system, by the way. Dr. Barnard back in the 60s, when he did the first artificial heart, was very clear to tell people, he said, listen, I don't know what's going to happen. It might keep them alive. We really don't know for how long, yada, yada, because the fact of the matter is, once I take that heart out, there are brain cells that are going to be missing. Because your heart has some brain cells in it, blah, blah, blah. And when I heard that, this was maybe in the early 70s when I heard it. I know he did it in the 60s pretty much. I was like, wow, well, that's really good to know. So there's other brain cells in other parts of your body. There's things we don't know. There's things we don't understand just yet about how we operate. But this timeline thing, because I use it myself,
Okay, take us through an example where you've used it yourself.
Well, okay, so here, I use it for my own planning, first of all.
Yeah.
And someone taught me something. They didn't teach it to me as they were teaching it to me. They were explaining to me something that happened to them, and as they explained it to me, not knowing, they didn't know NLP at the time, by the way.
Yeah.
I was just picking up, well, that's this in NLP, this is that, and that, and that. And I said, wow. See, I have this crazy belief that if you know that something can go wrong, you can take an action to do something about it or avoid it. I mean, I'm crazy like that. I believe that if I know, as long as I know. And they told me, they said what happened was that they were planning on getting married, all this stuff. And the guy, he got killed inadvertently. I'll just say it just like that. He got killed. Unfortunately, he was carjacked actually, but he died. So, and this person was devastated, of course. I understand all that. But later on, I was talking to her and I said, but you were planning on marriage. That had to be like really, really crushed her. She goes, yes, it did. But she goes, but on some level, I didn't think we were going to end up being married. I said, that's called intuition.
Yeah.
I said, based on what? Shows I could never really see the ceremony in my future. And I thought, holy crap. Now, doesn't mean that she could have saved him, or maybe she could, I don't know. But she could have at least had a little bit more, at least in my mind, this could happen. This is where I was talking with this officer again yesterday. I said, a lot of these guys, they go in, they want to be in law enforcement, and we know what the profile is. It's the excitement, it's this, it's that. They want to help people. There's a whole combination of really, really a good combination of characteristics of these people, but they don't realize that they can get hurt or killed. So this whole PTS thing, blah, 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 doesn't mean they can prevent, but they can maybe be a little more careful going into situations, right? I'm not saying she could do that, but I started thinking, aha. So if I may not may not be able to visualize a situation that I want to happen. I'm either going to see if I can't clarify it. Maybe I need more information because there's different ways of clarifying. And if it still doesn't clarify, you know what? I'm going to give it up.
No, I think there's something very important in here, because I say, when I've been playing with this exercise and I've successfully thrown myself into the future, then I felt good about it, then I can plan it, etc., etc.
Exactly.
On the assumption that I've been able to, without faking it, without trying too hard, I've been able to create a positive feeling of what it's like achieving it.
Yep. So I had to get some, not getting details. I had to get some serious surgery, and a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And I've never been sick my whole life, really, except for a knee thing. And going into the surgery, my family was worried. They go, "Oh my God, what happened?" I go, "Listen, don't plan for me. Just don't plan for me. Okay. I'll see you when I'm done." And they go, "How do you know?" I go, "Because I can see me seeing you when I'm done." You know, and I planned it all that way. It was a very unique experience for me, of course, but the most unique parts were that when I came out of the surgery and my family got to go see me in recovery, they looked at me and the nurse was standing there just staring and said, "I've never seen anybody come out of surgery like this. He looks better than when he went in." Now, does that the way I planned everything was going to be okay? And the other most incredible part of that experience, and still is to this day, was as I came out of the thing after a day or two of the drugs they gave me to whatever, I had no pain, which I wasn't sure if I was going to have pain, but I didn't have any pain. So because when I saw me coming out, when I was going to be done with this particular surgery, life was going to be great. And you look at what I'm doing with my hands, you can see what I do with my future. Everything was going to be good. So to me, I must have already really pre-planned that, not realizing, because I didn't sit there going, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm going into surgery any minute now. Let me get my NLP in line here."
Yeah.
No, it was all quite natural to me that I'm gonna come out. Everything's gonna be great. Screw that, any problems they might be thinking about, yada yada yada. But so that's one way. And in retrospect, I thought I must have done my own timeline thing, even going in.